Good morning and welcome to this Licensing Act subcommittee. This subcommittee is called to consider an application for a new premises licence in respect of Old Joe's Cafe Bistro, Old Joe's Golf and Leisure Venue at Corner Tie in Sudbury. I understand that the objector was present, but he seems to have dropped out, so he may, if he can get reconnected, we'll bring him back in. But all parties that have made an application or a representation have a right to be heard at a hearing in accordance with the hearing regulations of 2005. And the procedure we will follow, following some preliminary formalities, will be that the licensing officer will present a report of the application to the subcommittee. The applicant will then have an opportunity to make his representations in support of his application. Then the objector, if present, will be able to make his objections known. There will then be brief summing up by the licensing officer, and then the applicant, Mr. Byasit, will have the opportunity to have a final say before the members go into private session to consider the application and make a decision. After each representation, there will be an opportunity for members and other attendees at this hearing to ask questions of that. It's not a time to get into conversations or to challenge. It's just questions for clarification and to make sure that everything is clearly understood and you want all the points properly raised.
This virtual meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee, I would like to remind everyone present that this meeting will be broadcast live to YouTube and will be capable of repeated viewing. The meeting will be recorded except where there are confidential or exempt items. If you make a representation to the meeting, you will be deemed by the Council to have consented to being recorded. By entering this meeting as a speaker, you are also consenting to being recorded by the Council and to the possible use of those sound recordings for webcasting and/or training purposes. The Council, members of the public and the press may record, film, photograph or broadcast this meeting when the public and the press are not lawfully excluded. Please ensure that microphones are muted when you are not speaking, that you do not interrupt other speakers, that if you are attending the meeting to speak and persistently interrupt the meeting, you may be asked to leave. Additionally, you will be invited to speak and ask questions by the chairman, which is Councillor Ayres.
Yes, just to declare that, good morning, I'm a Babergh District Councillor as well. My granddaughter Esther Booth works as a student here on maybe Saturdays or during the holidays. But I have no pecuniary interest, just to be open and transparent to say that Esther works there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ayres. I also declare that I believe I have met Anna Bolton previously, probably about 4 years ago, at Old Joe's Cafe, but it will not influence any decision that I make this morning. Thank you. Any other declarations of interest?
No, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I will now ask everyone to introduce themselves. I will start with the introduction of the subcommittee members. My name is Margaret Maybury, Councillor Margaret Maybury, and I am the chairman of the Licensing and Regulatory Committee. And I ask Councillor Ayres to introduce herself, please.
Morning, everyone. And as I said previously, also a Babergh District Councillor and Sudbury Town Councillor. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And Councillor Carpendale.
Yes, good morning. Councillor Sue Carpendale. I'm the Vice Chairman of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I now ask officers in attendance to introduce themselves. And if I may, I will start with our legal advisor.
Yes, my name is Nigel Deleu. I'm legal advisor to this subcommittee.
Thank you. A licensing officer, if you would like to start, please.
Hi, my name is Catherine Green. I'm licensing officer for Babergh Mid Suffolk.
Thank you.
Good morning, Kay Sanders, licensing officer, Babergh Mid Suffolk.
Thank you.
Good morning, Kerry Chandler, licensing officer for Babergh and Mid Suffolk.
Thank you. And a governance officer?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Sayer, Governance Officer.
Thank you. And we have a trainee governance officer with us this morning.
Good morning, Bethany Webb, Trainee Governance Officer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And you may all see a photograph of Mandy Smith. Mandy, would you like to introduce yourself too, please? So you may not.
Yes, sorry. Good morning. My name's Mandy Smith. I'm a governance officer. I'm here during the live streaming in the background.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for introducing themselves. I would now like to ask the applicant to introduce themselves, and if they are represented, to also ask the representative to make their introduction. Good morning, Mr. Biasit.
Hi, good morning. My name is Burçin Bayezid. I'm the business owner of the Old Joe's Cafe and Bistro.
Thank you.
And also, I also put the request to support my application. I wanted to add Miss Anna Bolton, and she's at present.
Thank you very much. Anna Bolton, would you just like to introduce yourself very briefly?
Sorry, unmute. Yes, good morning, Anna Bolton, Director of Achieving Aspirations, which provides the overnight short break service known as Green Acres, which is on the site of Old Joe's.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I am now going to ask Mr. Biaset to confirm that he has received receipt of the procedure of this meeting, the report and copies of the relevant notices.
Yes, I have.
Thank you very much. I will just stop for the moment to see if
John Hills
thank you.
Now joining.
Thank you. I'm going to just ask my governance officer to make sure that Mr. Hills is with us.
I believe Mr. Hills has just joined the meeting, Chair.
Yes, I'm back on.
Thank you very much. And I'm sorry that you've missed the first 4 items on the agenda. Mr. DeLu, do you wish to repeat anything?
Yes, I'll just quickly summarise and just go through the procedure for Mr. Hills.
John Hills.
Yeah, we're just going through the preliminary formalities.
Nigel, he's dropped out.
Is he gone again? Okay.
Apologies, yeah.
Thank you. I think we will have to continue, but we hopefully Mr. Hills will be able to join us at some time. I now ask whether the applicant or anyone else wishes to withdraw their application or representation, or are you continuing, Mr. Biaset?
I'm continuing.
Thank you very much. I now have questions for the licensing officer, which is have there been any requests from parties for permission to call witnesses?
No, Chair.
Thank you very much. Have the parties indicated they wish to present documentary or other material?
No, Chair.
Thank you very much. I now ask Mr. Biaset if you could estimate the time required to present your case and to ask questions of the other parties during this hearing. Do you have an estimation of the time, please?
Well, I'm not really familiar with the process. You need to understand, you need to put that into account. So I don't apply for licensing, premises licensing every week or every month. So I don't know the process. So I assumed I put 60 minutes down on the paperwork. However, I just put that down purely. I really don't know the whole process. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Biaset. It is sometimes a difficult one to estimate, but we appreciate your explanation for that. Could I ask Anna Bolton? I'm sorry.
John Hills
is now joining.
Again, but I will continue with Anna Bolton if I may. I'm sorry, I don't know whether you wish to be addressed by Anna Bolton or Mrs. Bolton or Ms. or however, so please inform me.
Anna is fine.
Right, thank you very much. You are here as a supporter of Mr. Biaset. Do you have any inclination as to any timings that you would need?
No, I mean no, just I really don't know.
You don't know, Mr. Biaset. If Anna Bolton could just reply, and
I think how much time it would need is dependent upon the questions that are asked of me. But in terms of my representation, I don't think I need more than 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. That's very.
Thank you. If I could just step in and assist Mr. Biaset. All that's being asked for you is really to give a statement in support of your application. It's not a technical exercise that you should be worried about. It's just your opportunity to present your application to the members and make sure that they fully understand what you're applying for.
I totally understand, but it is very difficult for me to, depends on the questions, and there will be some questions during my statement, and that's why I made it very clear. I put down as 60 minutes, but that would be very excessive, I know. I will try to cut it down very short. Depends on the questions.
Yeah, questions will be asked, maybe asked at the end of the presentation.
That's fine.
So it's just for you really, just to sort of.
I would only submit few photos for you to see, and other than that, there will be my personal statement and my personal grievance against the council. And apart from that, I don't know how.
Mr. Biaset, what I need you to do is just concentrate on your application. If you have other issues regarding the way your application's been dealt with, that needs to be dealt with outside this subcommittee. That the members today are here purely to consider your application. If you have any other issues and complaints, there is a procedure that may be followed, and you'll be encouraged to do that if you do have issues. But I would ask you, for the purposes of this hearing, to concentrate purely on your application for the licence.
I totally understand. I am concentrating on my application, okay. And you don't need to actually tell me I can't put grievance in or complaining during the or at the meeting, which I can by my rights. However, all I need to tell you, I have previously registered few complaints against the process, against the certain individuals. However, I have not replied. I have not received any reply. I mean, it's all good. You are telling me I have to follow the external processes, but if the external process is not really.
Mr. Biaset, the purpose of this subcommittee is to consider your application. It will be in your best interests to put your application forward to the subcommittee to answer any questions that they have in respect of your application. If you have other issues, I assure you they can be dealt with, and they will be dealt with properly. However, this subcommittee is here to consider the application only. If you start talking about other things that are irrelevant to the application, then I will ask that you be muted so we can continue with the actual proper deliberations of this application.
Okay, I understand. Does it apply to everyone?
Mr. Biaset, thank you. Mr. Delou, thank you very much. We are here to deliberate on your application, and we will do that as is required by Babergh District Council. So thank you. Could I just ask, is Mr. Hills with us again or not, please?
He does appear to be, Chair, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Hills, I'm chairman of the Licensing and Regulatory Committee.
Hello.
My name is Councillor Margaret Maybury. Would you like to introduce yourself, please? And then Mr. Delou will just speak a few words on the process because we have got to item 5 on the agenda.
Hello, I'm John Hills.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hills. Thank you and welcome. Mr. DeLu.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just for Mr. Hill's benefit, I'll just quickly go over the procedure again. We are into the application.
Can I just say I have been listening to you online, but been unable to communicate, so I am aware of what's gone before.
Okay. Okay, so you know how the process is.
Yeah,
what I would just like to say in respect of your representations is that my advice to the subcommittee today is that they're going to treat your representation as one from an individual rather than the Cornard Thai Residents Association. And the reason for that is where a group is represented by an individual, there is an expectation that evidence of authority to represent the group is provided. If it's an informal group, quite often the other members will attend and sit in on the hearing, or there will be a document with signature of other members of that group to confirm that they are part of that representation. For a formally constituted group, we would expect minutes of a meeting to confirm that the group's representations have been approved and they are agreeable to those representations. Now, this doesn't mean that your representation should not be considered. An appropriate weight should still be given to them. But for the purposes of this decision, they are taking your representations as you from an individual. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. DeLu. We're moving on to item 5 on the agenda, please, which is the hearing. And I'm asking the licensing officer, Catherine Green, to present their report, B/LA sub/SUB/21/1, and to summarise the matter under consideration. Catherine Green, please.
Thank you, Chair. This hearing is to determine an application made for the grant of a new premises licence made under Section 17 of the Licensing Act 2003 by Babergh and Bayezid in relation to the premises Old Joe's Cafe and Bistro, Old Joe's Golf and Leisure Centre, Joe's Road, Cornard Thai, Great Cornard, Sudbury, CO10 0QB. The application was received by the Licensing Authority on the 21st of September 2021, and a copy of this is attached to this report as Appendix A. The application made has been subject to the statutory consultation period as prescribed by regulation. The notices advertising the application have been on display at the premises and published in the West Suffolk Mercury 29th of September 2021 edition. Full details of the proposed activities and timings are contained within the application form attached as Appendix A to this report. The operating schedule steps proposed by the applicant to promote the 4 licensing objectives are listed as Part M of the application form. A hearing is necessary to determine the application following receipt of representations which have not been withdrawn. The subcommittee will be aware that its consideration is confined to promotion of the 4 licensing objectives, and the need or commercial demand for licensed premises are not considerations for the licensing authority when discharging its licensing functions. The licensing authority must carry out its functions under the Act with a view to promoting the licensing objectives, which are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. Where revisions are made to the legislation or guidance issued by the Secretary of State, there may be a period of time when the local statement of licensing policy is inconsistent with these revisions. In these circumstances, the licensing authority will have regard and give appropriate weight to the relevant changes, guidance, and its own statement of licensing policy. The subcommittee will also be aware of Human Rights Act 1998 considerations, specifically Article 6 and Articles 8 and 1 of Protocol 1, when determining applications for the grant of a new licence. The Licensing Authority has received no representations from any of the responsible authorities under the Licensing Act 2003. Environmental Health, as a responsible authority under the Act, have undertaken mediation on their areas of concern, and the applicant has agreed to the inclusion of 2 conditions attached as Appendix D to this report. There has been 2 representations received made by other persons, which includes local residents, businesses and residents associations, and these are attached as Appendix C to this report. The subcommittee must, having regard to the representations made, take such of the steps below, if any, as it considers appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. to grant the licence subject to conditions which are consistent with the operating schedule accompanying the application, modified to such extent as the authority considers appropriate for promotion of the licensing objectives and subject to any mandatory conditions which must be included in the licence. To exclude from the scope of the licence any of the licensable activities to which the application relates, to refuse to specify a person in the licence as premises supervisor, or to reject the application. For these purposes, conditions of the licence are modified if any of them are altered or omitted or any new condition is added. Any party aggrieved by the decision taken by the licensing authority in respect of this application has a statutory right of appeal to the Magistrates' Court. This concludes my report, Chair.
Thank you very much, Catherine Green, for that. I now ask if the applicant has any questions for the licensing officer, please. Mr. Biosett. You're currently on mute, Mr. Biosett.
Oh, sorry. Can you? Yeah, I couldn't hear. Can you please repeat the question?
I'm asking if you have a question for the licensing officer from her report.
No, I haven't.
Thank you very much. Anna Bolton, may I ask you if you have any questions for the licensing officer?
No.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hills, hopefully you're still with us.
Yes.
Do you have
not phone for you? Yes, I do. I had obviously the questions that I submitted pre this meeting.
You are going to
Mr.
have to
Hills,
verbalise those. Mr. Delou, beg your pardon, carry on.
Chair. Mr. Hills, it's your opportunity to ask questions of the licensing officer in respect of the report that she's just submitted. Do you have any questions relating to that report?
No, I don't think so, because I never heard the report.
It's just been presented. Did you not hear what was said?
No, it keeps buffering.
Okay.
And,
do you have a copy of the papers?
Yes, I have a copy of the documents that were sent to me. I have them in front of me.
That was the report that was summarised. Do you have any questions as to the actual report?
No, I'll leave it at that at present.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hills, and thank you, Mr. Delou. I'm just going to ask my subcommittee now if they have any questions for the licensing officer. May I ask Councillor Carpendale first, please?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I just wanted to check with the licensing officer. Have these premises had a licence previously under a different ownership?
Yes, Councillor. It was known as Quinton's Cafe, but the owner of Quinton's Cafe cancelled and surrendered the licence. Therefore, this is why Mr. Biosett has to apply again.
So there has been a licence on these premises before?
Yes, Councillor.
And were there any particular issues reported at that time?
I am unaware, Chair, of any particular issues other than those that were raised at the original hearing for the previous licence.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Ayres?
No, thank you, Chair, none.
Thank you. I have none at the moment. Thank you very much. I now ask the applicant to present his case for granting the licence. Mr. Biosett, if you are ready, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Yes, I'm the business owner for the Babergh Cafe, and it is I do employ 4 people there on permanent basis, and plus the casual workers, and the students. They help us out, and we are well known for the high standards, the quality food served there, and the dog friendly environment. And we are open to anyone, and we welcome anyone, and we support local businesses. So I do not buy anything from the wholesalers, and we support the local butchers, etc. However, I was a bit disappointed. when I received the objections regarding to my applications, because as the licensing, the officer, Catherine, mentioned, there was a previous license granted for that premise. Okay, and before I applied for this license, I made it very clear to the licensing department that I am very new to the licensing application, and I just want to copy paste from the previous grant and fill the application form and submit it. And so under their guidance, my application, we had some discussions, and they asked me, can I change this to that? I said that's fine, no problem, and we made the changes, and they were happy, and they received the applications, and they accepted my application, and obviously then I received this recommend to refuse or recommend to reject sections based on my applications. However, as I said to you before, my current application is very similar to the previous application made by Mr. Quentin in 2019. And he surrendered his application in 2020, just before the pandemic. So basically, in terms of law, in terms of there is nothing has been changed, and in fact, all we receive here, they put more restrictions on my application, which I'm struggling to understand, and I'm quite happy to cooperate. I'm quite happy to compromise. Which previously environmental officers contact me, and they asked they asked me whether I would like to compromise on few issues. I said that's fine. I'm happy to do that, you know. And as you can see on the report, it is mentioned, which I did it. I wish I received the same from the other authorities. If they had any concerns prior to the decisions made, you know, that's where my problem is. And I don't know whether you have been to are you familiar with the Old Joe's or not? Have you been there, any of you? Do you know the area?
Can I answer?
Councillor Ayres, please do.
Yes, I actually have been there many times. In fact, I used to play golf with my husband there, and he died in 2002. So I'm going back quite a few years. So yes, I'm very aware of the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I am also very aware, Mr. Byers, of the area.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, I wanted to share the few photos with you, whether it is possible or not. I don't know, but I have taken some images.
Sorry, I'll just have to come in there. Unless the documents were provided as part of your representation in accordance with the application, then they shouldn't be considered. Happy for you to describe the site and explain it, but further documentation shouldn't be accepted at this stage.
Well, it is just photo. You know, it's a photo. I mean, if you think that's not appropriate, then that's fine. You know. Okay. Let me make it very clear. The Old Joe's Cafe, the nearest residential. I mean, it's very open area, very big area, and it has many green areas attached to it. You can see on my application there is a place called Putting Green, which is again big green area. There are some wooden benches there. And also on the right-hand side there is an area called the paddock, which is enclosed, fenced-in area, and we again put few benches there for people to sit down and enjoy their time at the cafe. So in terms of the neighborhood, the near there is a lake. There is a lake after the Old Joe's borders, the boundaries. There is a lake between the nearest residential house. So, and that is called Water Edge, I believe. And the Water Edge, the residents, they are the closest to the Old Joe's Cafe, and roughly in a walking distance from the cafe's door, by walking roughly 200 yards away. Okay, and so and in the Appendix C, they have got statement there. They support my application and they don't have any issues whatsoever. This is the household nearest to the cafe. So when you look at from the cafe again, any areas from the cafe, you can't see any houses whatsoever. It's a vast green area. Okay, I mean, maybe you can call it as middle of the nowhere. That's the feeling you get. But I was quite surprised. All those allegations and accusations and the incorrect the information given by the CTRA. I was a bit surprised, you know, and I had a meeting with the CTRA, the vice chairman, Mr. Hills, and a few weeks ago, and I was agreed for him. I was agreed to compromise on my application, and if they withdraw their objection, so we left the meeting amicably. And next day, unfortunately, that didn't materialize. I'm a bit disappointed. And I looked at the history of the Joe's Road. I'm talking about the postcode CO100QB. I'm just talking about that postcode. There was, since 2017, there was 25 planning applications has been submitted by various businesses, various people. Okay, so 10 of them, they were belong to Old Joe's Cafe, Old Joe's Golf range, and the 15 submitted by the certain residents or the businesses. So when you look at those 10, the applications, planning applications, have been submitted to council since 2017 by the Old Joe's business owner. Every single applications, more or less, has been objected by the CTRA. Okay. There are pages and pages and pages. I totally understand they got their own reasons to object, but they only objected to Old Joe's Cafe's applications, Old Joe's Golf driving range applications. Anything comes from that area, they object. But there was no objection whatsoever on the rest of the applications, which is nearly 15 applications has been made by other parties, and the CTRA didn't even make a comment about it. So again, when you receive the objection letter from the CTRA, and all of you read that letter, and can you please tell me where am I within that letter? Where am I? Everything is to do with someone else. It is nothing to do with me. I am very, very small part of that.
Okay,
objection.
Mr. Bassett, thank you for that. I think it would benefit you if you could. I mean, we've seen the objections, and they will be referred to and considered appropriately. I can assure you that. What I think would benefit you is to give the members now some idea of the business that you intend to run, and give them a good sort of summary of the kind of business that's going to operate on the sites.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. DeLu. That would be really useful.
Okay, I am the as I said at the beginning of my conversation. I am offering a very high quality service there within our capability. Okay, and we support the local businesses. And what we intend to do when we get our license, so this is not really, this is not a pub, this is not a bar, this is just the part of the golf club, and so it's people who come there enjoy maybe the glass of wine or the bottle of beer. So that's all about. It is not really. It shouldn't take into the consideration like we are going to run that place as a the town pub or the bar or nightclub whatsoever. So that is we are planning to do. We are planning to offer the drinks with the meals. If not, they can enjoy, sit down there, enjoy their drinks, and enjoy having a good time there. Furthermore, obviously there will be some events. We are hoping, because we need to survive. I'm running a business. Okay, we need to survive, and so there will be some events. And when I said some events, these are obviously weather permitted events. So as we live in Britain, there is no guarantee for anything, is it? So predominantly it will be summertime, or possibly springtime. So we will have possibly some events booked. So we are planning to put some sort of depends on the planning permission, the marquee or the serving huts in that green areas I mentioned before, and it will not be on the permanent base. So it will be on the it's not going to be permanent. So in terms of the live music, again, predominantly it will be indoor during the winter time. Again, if we have any events booked, it will be obviously it will be set up the outdoors, and also I mentioned on my application there will be special events, like the World Cups, the football or rugby or whatever, whenever the England, Wales or the Scotland plays, obviously we would like to show that to people. They can watch the game and have a few drinks and the meal. So I am quite happy. I'm quite happy. As I said to CTRA at our previous meeting, I'm quite happy to let any residents at Old Joe's, any residents there, I'm quite happy to let them know in advance, right? And there will be events. It will be operated within those hours, okay? And it will be the alcohol will be served, and it will finish serving at this time. So it will be detailed, basically, information given to them. But so that's all I can do, and I will take all precautions and all the relevant the concerns regarding the legal implications, like was mentioned on the report. So I'm quite happy to take remedy for those recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Bicep. Is that your representation?
Well, I would like to
continuing.
Well, I would like to obviously find out whether if there is any questions from any parties, so then I can carry on if they want me to.
Thank you, Mr. Biaset. I'm going to ask if you would like your supporter Anna Bolton to speak now.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you, Anna Bolton.
Good morning again. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Having listened to Bursa and having the opportunity to speak to yourselves, I've been sitting here writing down a few notes, and actually would ask that I just have probably a little bit longer than 5 minutes, because I feel that the risk of going off tangent, it might be quite useful to give a little bit of background information about how we ended up being on the site, and what it means to us to be there as an organisation, and also in providing services for some adults with additional needs.
Can I just stop you there, Anna, if I may? Will this be supporting Mr. Biaset's application?
Yes.
Yes. I'm quite happy. Can I ask my fellow councillors if they are happy for that to be extended by more than 5 minutes? Councillor Ayres is agreeing. Yes. Councillor Carpenter. Yes. Yes. Please carry on, Anna. Thank you.
So I'm not sure of your experiences of working in the learning disabilities field, but I've been doing it my entire career. I started off my career working in big institutional hospitals, and have watched a way in which the communities have embraced people moving out of the hospitals and into the being active members of society. So to actually, and generally speaking, all of the premises that I've operated my services from in the past have been old rundown buildings that we make the best of. So the opportunity to be involved in building something brand new for people with disabilities, with a specific service, with a specific purpose, was actually really something quite special. So a building that we could be proud of. So we were involved from the start. The vision was always that this was going to be an activity centre, as the planning for it was consented, and for an overnight short break centre. Now, I know it's known as respite, but that's actually very old language to be using. Respite care is about giving people a break from their caring responsibilities. For the people that come to us, we talk about short breaks because it's about making sure it's a fun, making sure it's a nice experience for them, a mini holiday, a bit like you would take if you were going to go for a weekend break in a city break somewhere. So, and of course, the side effect of that is whilst we're looking after those adults with the disabilities, those that are their regular carers, are usually their parents still, are getting some respite from their caring responsibilities. So in terms of it being a centre for people coming along to have a really nice relaxing time and quiet, etc., as there's an understanding of, that's not necessarily the case. It's about the young people being able to come, or the adults coming in and having a nice time. So the concept on the site, the activity site, is that the young people, when they come, they get involved in the golf, they play foot golf, they use the cafe quite significantly, they'll go over there, they'll practice using their money, exchanging things, buying things. It's a much bigger centre than just actually the respite, as it seems to be being referred to. It's actually much more encompassing. And on that basis, we would absolutely support the development of the cafe to be able to offer other activities, because for actually our service users in the short break centre, it means that there is a lot more available to them on site to enjoy. And I don't know about you, but if I'm going away for a weekend, which I am this weekend, I know a glass of wine will be involved with my meal in the evening. It shouldn't be any different for the people that are actually accessing our services if it's within the safety rules for them, which of course we have all the risk assessments around it. They're adults in their own right. If they enjoy a glass of wine, they're entitled to have one. It's not about protecting them from it, it's about including them in what is normal for the rest of us, because they're adults and we should be being inclusive. The second point of this is about inclusivity. As I've said all the way through my career, it's been about I say we, and I include myself in the learning disability community because I've worked in it for too long. We've always been the ones that have been knocking on the door of other places saying, can we be included too? Can we come along? And we've often met with resistance to that. By actually having something, and I hold this absolutely very dear to my heart, if we have got as a community something that people without disabilities want, they'll come to us. And that by that way, we are turning inclusion absolutely on its head. So people without the disabilities are going to want to use the centre that we've got, and therefore by default we will have an inclusive service, and that's what we're striving to achieve, I hope, as a company, as a community, and actually as a nation, that actually we're all on an even footing. And I absolutely support the application for the licensing, because I just think that takes us one step further to supporting our more marginalised people in society to have an inclusive, meaningful and enjoyable social life, as well as promoting other activities and opportunities for them to learn. And that's really all I've got to say.
Thank you, Anna. That was most useful. I think I because you have spoken so passionately about the Respite Centre, I need to declare that I am actually a special needs tutor, and that I am also a carer, but not for younger adults, but for someone much older. So I do declare that, but thank you very much for that. I'm now going to ask my subcommittee if they have any questions, and Councillor Ayres does already, so please ask your question, Councillor.
Well, thank you very much.
Could you just describe who that's for, if it's for Mr. Byford or for Anna?
It's for Anna. Just to say, Anna, asking the question about maybe the type of disabilities that those people who come to stay are, how they are. And I also must declare that I taught at Thomas Wolsey School for years, and I taught the FE unit. And your point about them having a drink if they were over 18 and we would take them away on holiday, they would be allowed to have a drink. I was involved with the BSAD, and again, they would drink in a moderate way. And yes, they're adults, they should be allowed to be included. So that's very, very important. And the times when I've taken students away, which is important for everyone to understand. One mother said to me once, I have loved those 4 days away, because I took them to Stoke Mandeville, because I wasn't wiping his nose every 5 minutes or his bottom.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it adds up to. Thank you.
Can I, was there a question there, please?
Yes, types of disability.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Anna, would you like to reply?
We actually support quite a wide range of disabilities. We have in the centre itself, there is the downstairs bedrooms can accommodate people with very physical disabilities. So we have a overhead hoisting and specialist equipment to support people with quite complex needs. The downstairs is actually equipped so that we can cater for more than one person with that level of need, because I'm sure if you worked at Thomas Wolsey, you'll be aware that there's very few places that can accommodate two friends with physical disabilities to go away together. So the point being that we were able to actually enable that to happen. So, groups that are friends with that level of disability can come and stay together. We also have young people come and stay who are quite mobile, who have got quite severe learning disabilities cognitively. Certainly we have young people come who are on the autistic spectrum. In terms of age, they're all over the age of 18, the moment I should think probably the oldest that comes is probably somewhere near the age of 30, they've the whole range. You can't really say what type, can you, because everybody is so unique in terms of their support needs. So but yeah, a whole range of disabilities come. We're very happy for you to come and visit us.
Thank you very much.
Can I just come back there?
Yes.
I also share your how important it is, having asked at loads of pubs in the area, 20-mile radius. I only found one that would accept myself and my students because of their disabilities to be cared for. So I do appreciate that, how important that is. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Carpenter.
Thank you, Chairman. Firstly, if I could just ask Ms. Bolton one or two things. Firstly, how long has your centre been on the site?
The centre was actually built, during it only opened in, I want to say spring last year. We were due to open in just as the pandemic sort of was starting to hit its peak. So unfortunately that really sort of obviously delayed things enormously. So we've really only been operational probably for just over a year now. But the centre was actually completed, I think, just before the pandemic actually hit its hit its worst point. So yeah, we are very new. So a bit like Bersan, we are still opening our doors as a new business and welcoming people in. The difficulty, sorry, going off tangent a bit, the biggest difficulty at the moment is in all of the care sector, if you like, is recruitment. We've got lots and lots of young adults who are very, very keen to access the centre and develop it, but recruitment is really tough at the moment. So we are, we employ people in the local area. So we're looking at a targeted campaign to get more people through the door in terms of staffing.
Are you expecting that obviously you will have adequate levels of supervision to assist your guests when they might want to use the facilities or go to the cafe, have a glass of wine or whatever?
Absolutely. We're registered with CQC, with the Care Quality Commission, and all of the service users that attend our services have a risk assessment around them, and that very much details what level of support they can have and what activities they can undertake. And of course, those are consented to by those that might hold not parental responsibility, but if they're under the Mental Capacity Act, etc., best interest decisions and so on. So we would have all of that in place. And some of the service users require a one-to-one support. Some of them might require two-to-one to go out and do various activities. Others might be happier to be able to go out in a small group with one member of staff supervising a couple of service users together. So it's all very bespoke.
Thank you. That was really just by way of information for me, because clearly you are not the one here who's if I could ask you, Mr. Bowsett, a couple of questions. Your application is very clear what you're asking for, and thank you for explaining that your major sporting events that you'd like to cover could be things like World Cup and Rugby Union and so on. That's clear. I think when we're looking at things like Halloween and Bonfire Night, we'd be very specific about dates, wouldn't we? So that we would know exactly what dates were being talked about. I'm not sure what you mean by special occasions, because they do seem to be listed separately from major sporting events. So what kind of things did you have in mind for special occasions?
Well, thank you very much. It's certain it's not the bonfire and Halloween, because I really don't like it anyway. Okay, so the special events, like birthday parties. Okay, so anyone who willing to book the cafe or the green area before any golf or foot golf, to have a drink together with their friends. The predominantly birthday parties, or could be weddings. Depends on the capability, and we are basically we are running a business, and I would like to make it very clear our special events, they will not be running every week of the year or every day of the week. So it will be possibly 10-15 times a year you are talking about. It can vary between from birthday party to wedding reception, or the private dinner to any golf parties or corporate meetings, this type of things. So this is I want to keep the scale a bit bigger. And I'm being very frank and open with you, and I'm quite happy to notify the relevant authorities prior to any events there.
Chair,
Madam Chair, may I?
I'm sorry, Mr. Hills. Mr. DeLu wishes to come in here, and I'm sure he's going to say exactly what I'm going to say. But Mr. DeLu, please carry on.
Yeah, firstly, Mr. Hills, you will have an opportunity to ask questions in a moment. I just wanted to give some advice to the licensing committee, and perhaps as Mr. Bowsett has indicated earlier that he's not particularly familiar with the licensing regime. It's unlikely that the subcommittee will permit the non-standard timings for the major sporting events and special occasions. The reason for that is that non-standard timings have to be specified within the application from the outset that the subcommittee can grant. Section 172 of the Licensing Act 2003 gives the Secretary of State powers to relax licensing timings for special events, special occasions, World Cups, rugby, football, jubilees. So some of those occasions you will be granted dispensation or a moratorium on the restrictions in any case. With regard to the other events you've been talking about, the birthdays, wedding receptions, things like that, it would be more appropriate for you to apply for temporary event notice for those occasions. The licensing team will be able to give you plenty of advice on that. If you feel that it is becoming a regular thing, you may apply for a variation on your license at a future date if you want to accommodate those. But my advice to the subcommittee would be to, in respect of the non-standard timings, to restrict it to the dates that you specified that can be identified.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. I'm willing to do that. So it's a learning curve for me. You need to thank you very much for the advice, and I will take that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was the clarification I was looking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, and Mr. Deleu got in there first, but thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Notify residents in advance of activities. Could you explain how that would be? What form that would be, please?
It will be in writing.
In writing. Thank you very much.
I'm planning to drop a letter to each household Joel's Road, so they will be notified.
And have you considered this time frame that you would give for that?
Well, you need to understand that some events can be booked on the late notice. So as soon as we have any bookings made, and if the bookings have been made in advance, long time advance, then I am going to put the notice and let them know within a week, possibly 7 days, 7 days before the event. Unless there's a last-minute meeting, that last-minute booking, I will immediately inform the neighbours and the relevant authorities.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that clarification. You also spoke kindly about the music, that it will be outdoors in the summer and indoors in the winter. And you've also agreed to our environmental officer to restrict the noise levels, which I'm sure neighbours would appreciate. Could you just explain to me, if you did have a complaint about the noise, how you would deal with that, please?
Well, obviously if there is first of all, I will make sure the noise level is not exceeded. Okay, and I will put relevant I don't know, we can measure the noise level. I'm sure we can sort that out. On the other hand, how can I deal with it? If the noise level exceeds, I will immediately act on it, and I'll get the noise level to the necessary level, adjusted it, and incorporate with the person who made the complaint or whoever come to site. I will explain them accordingly.
Thank you. That was the answer that I was hoping for. You have made a submission for serving alcohol outside in grassed areas.
Yeah.
Have you considered what type of drinking vessel that you would use?
The cafe is a very small cafe. Okay, we cannot possibly serve pint from the kegs, you know, and because you need to have the storage, the cellar, and you need to store this, and so I'm sure Mr. Hills wouldn't like to see another planning application regarding to that. So that's why we cannot serve really open pints, okay, from the pull down the vessels. But I am planning to serve alcohol from the bottles, okay. And I will open the bottles and dispense the drink and before I serve the customers.
Thank you, Mr. Bicep. I'm just going to stop you there because I don't wish to start a two-way conversation between you and Mr. Hills about serving pints. However, what I'm actually looking for, and I will ask you this now directly, my concern is, and I think my colleagues were also slightly concerned, if you're serving drinks in glasses, i.e. glass, on putting green or somewhere else, if they accidentally get broken, there is the opportunity for some type of injury. So would you consider polycarbonate drinking vessels when you are outside?
I would definitely consider that. That is the option. We can take. Can I tell you about the broken glasses? If we are very, very clean site, every spill, every broken glass, even indoor, we take care of it, and because my origin is health and safety as an officer.
Thank you.
And so that's why I will take all appropriate actions.
Thank you very much. I just ask my subcommittee, are there any other questions for either Mr. Bicep at the moment or Anna Bolton, please?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. No,
thank you very much. I'm now going to ask Mr. Hills, as another person present, to put forward his objections. Mr. Hills, please.
Sorry, Chair. Sorry to butt in. Mr. Hills should have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Bicep.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm so sorry. I do apologise. Mr. Hills, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, I would. I do actually have one and a comment directed towards Anna and Mr. Bicep, if I may. A very short comment.
This is a time to ask questions. Mr. Hills, you'll have your opportunity to have your say in a moment when you make your representation. But if you could
okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Well, the first one then, in relation to Mr. Bicep and yourselves raising the issue of the putting green, and also Mr. Bicep mentioning that he cut and pasted the application. I think you find if you look at the last application, the drinking was not allowed in any other areas but the marquee within the paddock or within the cafe. It was not allowed outside for because that allowed then people to, revellers or whatever, a party, to walk around the whole site carrying glasses or bottles or
Mr. Hills, are you asking a question?
Yeah, the question is, really, why does he need to justify people drinking outside adjacent to the car park when he has a facility and has a paddock and has a cafe where he can have the drinking and it won't affect anybody else, because the other provisions are there for golfers and for persons residing at the Respite Center?
Mr. Bicep, would you like to reply?
Well, there is a putting green. It is located between the Green Acres and us, and also on the end of the putting green, there are trees between the car park and the putting green. So basically, our car park is nothing to do with the putting green either. So there are only a few benches there, the near to cafe, and they are not permanent benches because we do move them regularly, and so we do serve. We would like to serve alcohol there, and it shouldn't be a problem. And if we serve it as as you recommend it, within the plastic glasses, then I think I don't understand the problem. You know.
Thank
so
you.
The previous from the previous application. So he's quite right from the previous application. However, I made it very clear to the during my application. I would like to add that putting green to the application.
Thank you, Mr. Byers. That we are actually looking at the application that is in front of us and not a previous application. Mr. Hills, do you have any other questions for Mr. Byers or Anna Bolton, please, at this moment?
Yeah, I have one to Anna, if I may.
Yes.
Yeah, Anna. Firstly, the villagers have no objection to persons with special needs being on the site. Any issues were to do with the fact that you couldn't build a building there, but that's been covered. We accept that and we move forward. What we are concerned is that one, it's very difficult for you to make a judgment on what will happen if Mr. Bassett has or Vanessa Raywood, the site owner, decides to have parties or anything on the site, because you've not been there when the situations have arisen, because you. So I'd like to ask, you've not, have you or not experienced an event going on where music is loud and revellers are walking over the area since you've opened? And I don't believe you have.
No, because it's not allowed to do that now.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hills, do you have any other question at this time? No, not other than what I've got to ask at the end anyway. The questions I put forward to. Thank you very much, Mr. Hills. Does the licensing officer have any questions for Mr. Byers or Anna Bolton, please?
No, Chair.
Thank you very much. My apologies for my slight error there. I am now going to ask Mr. Hills if he would like to present his case, please, and I would ask you, Mr. Hills, to be respectful to everyone here. Thank you.
Yeah, I certainly would be. I have no reason to suspect if you think I'd do anything different. No, I say basically the problem is, from historically there has been issues and there was complaints made about events that had happened there previously. Because the noise does carry, and although it was also mentioned that Mr. Bender, who has recently moved to the premises, which is the closest, which is probably a bit nearer than 200 yards, but it is a lake between it, which is a small lake, and lakes, you may or may not know, do amplify sound, so the noise is probably increased for the residents. But again, Mr. Bender's quite right to support Mr. Bassett. We have no problem with that. But again, he has only just moved in and has never been there to experience an event being held. So that relates to that. The questions I would obviously like to ask, if I may, I'll start now.
This is time to present your case, Mr. Hills.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Well, as you know, I am there representing the villagers, and historically there has been a lot of problems with the site, and that's why there has been objections. We, in principle, do not have a problem with this being a licensed premises. That's not the issue. The issue for us is to have licenses which allow drinking totally into unsociable hours, like the late night refreshment license. Seems to be no justification when Mr. Bassett did say to me while we had a conversation that although he could have them licenses and he could operate late, that he wasn't going to. Well, from our perspective, you know, if he is pressured at any time by anybody to have an event, or it looks like a good earner, shall we say, then Mr. Bassett would want it. Well, if there's no limitations to the licensing hours, specific licensing hours, then it's a free-for-all. You can have any type of event, any size of event at any time, which obviously causes problems. On top of that, in relation to the Respite Center, and it is a respite, it was put in as a Respite Center, that was on the planning application. And we do have people who do care for others who live in the village or care for people out of the village. And it's known that a lack of sleep for people, and especially people that have mental or physical difficulties or problems, that loud music played into the night will restrict their sleeping, whether they like it or not, and that could cause further problems. So what we're after is that the site is used, bearing in mind it's a golf site and a golf is a quiet sport, that the activities that go on there do not negatively impact on people near the site. And so what we're asking of the officers and that is that you do place restrictions on and limitations on the times. And then also we have to raise the issue that this site, this cafe, has never ever had planning permission to be a cafe for anybody to walk on site. It was initially put there in to aid golfers. When they finished, there was a little drink they could come and have, something to eat before they go home or previous to the game. The situation now is that there's been various advertising and that around the area, and that's been drawing people in from all different places to come and get takeaways or just go there for a meal and a drink and leave, which is increasing the traffic flow. And as some of your fellow officers know, Joe's Road is a single track road. It's unlit. It's not maintained very well. Curb edgings go. There's potholes, and there isn't sufficient room for two cars to pass each other unless people mount villagers' front greens and driveways. And so it's not just one thing; it's several things which are affecting it, and it's just not a suitable site to potentially have parties which there is no limitation to. Under the way the licenses that were applied for, basically events and drink and food could be sold for 23.5 hours a day. And I think you'll find that that's not suitable.
Thank you, Mr. Hills. Have you completed?
Yeah, I think that's fine until I ask my questions. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mr. Hills. I will just point out to you that planning permission is a completely separate item to the granting of a licence. That has to be
I'm aware of that, yeah,
by the planning committee. Thank you very much. If I may, I have a couple of questions for you to start off with, if I may.
Yeah.
My first question is, you commented on noise issues, that you've had previous noise issues. Could you explain those very briefly, please?
Yes, strangely enough, the last time the site got a licence from Mr. Quinton, it was, I believe, that very morning on a Friday, I'm sure it was, and it may have been the Saturday the next day, that the licence was granted. They held an event. They had a live band and music was excessive. Villagers 500 yards away could hear the music. I could hear the music, and I'm 500 or 600 yards away. And one of the local residents went to the site and spoke to the licensee and said, you know, the music's far too loud, could you turn it down? He was then verbally abused by members of their site, people who own the site and people running the cafe, verbally abused, threatened. And when he said, well, can you turn that music down? Mr. Quinton at the time, which is obviously nothing to do with this, said, oh, we can't, the band won't let us turn the music down. But of course, who was there to tell you? Phone up the council in the middle of the night, there's nobody there. You call the police and they have enough problems without worrying about noise issues. And so nobody comes, the event's over, and it's a case of, oh, accept it. And, you know, we can't have this going forward. Carte blanche to do anything at any time.
Thank you, Mr. Hills, for that explanation. I'm sure you have seen within the submission pack that there has been a restriction put on by the licensing committee. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I will rewind. We are the licensing committee. Yeah. There has been a restriction. Or a condition put forward and been accepted by the environmental health officer.
Yeah, and Yeah, I did see that. I was somewhat surprised. I mean, it's not very closed, is it? It's an open statement that could easily be abused.
Well, that is your opinion, Mr. Hills. At the moment, I can't comment on that. You also spoke about restrictions on site. I've written that down, but you were talking about
in relation to where alcohol could be consumed, because it is a big site, and I don't know how Mr. Bazette could actually physically stop people who are at a party event in a marquee, which they can just walk out of, or in a tent, or whatever it is, and walk around the site, which could be to the annoyance and to persons in the Respite Center, but it could also be annoyance to if you walk up the golf course a little bit, there is a listed building there,
right. Okay.
And so that's the issue, that the drinking should be restricted to in the cafe or under any cover that's in the paddock. It shouldn't be anywhere else on the site.
Thank you for explaining, Mr. Hills. We have had a detailed map. I'm sure you've seen it. It's also in the pack, which actually denotes where alcohol is to be, or is being considered to be allowed. So
which is on the putting green, isn't it?
It's on. There is a detailed map. It is for the patio, the putting green, the cafe, and the paddock green. So I hope you could understand the difference in my accent for those two. Obviously, and I will speak so Mr. Biasek can hear this as well. Obviously, if we were minded to grant this and there was any alteration to this, then obviously the license would have to be reviewed. So I'll make that quite clear. I am now going to ask other people present here if they have any questions for you. So first of all, I'm going to ask my subcommittee. Councillor Ayres, you've popped up first, please. Your question for Mr. Hills.
Chair. Yes, Mr. Hills. I listened very carefully to what you said. I'm just interested about your committee and your chairman. How many people are involved in this committee, please?
The committee has up to 6 members, but obviously each time we have a meeting, we do open it up to anybody else who wishes to come along. We have an AGM, normally a normal AGM yearly, but unfortunately because of the restrictions of COVID, we didn't hold one last year. And in relation to members of the committee, we have, I think it's probably 35 homes. We probably have about 33 of them that pay a yearly subscription, and a couple of others that don't want to be involved in anything. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Answer. Mr. DeLue wanted to come in there, please. Was that to stop?
Yes, Chair. I just wanted to come in on that. As I stated earlier, because we don't have any actual evidence that Mr. Hills is authorised to represent the community association, we are considering his representations as an individual.
Thank you.
Yeah, I note that it was mentioned to me at this earlier this morning. I was just a bit surprised that this was never mentioned to us before, because I could reproduce the letter, minutes of a meeting or anything else.
Thank you, Mr. Hills. Councillor Carpendale.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Hills. I was going to ask you about noise complaints and who they'd been made to, but you've answered that, and if they weren't dealt with in a satisfactory manner, that's something that we'll perhaps take up out of meeting. You also mentioned something about possibility of licensed drinking for 23.5 hours. You have the papers in front of you. I wonder if you could just point me to the source of that argument.
Well, a late night refreshment licence, as you're aware, starts, I believe, at 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Persons arrive on site 7:30ish. I think Mr. Bazette said he would get there about 7:30, something like that in the morning. And obviously with the special occasions licence that he was asking for, which is any event for any reason really, put onto the normal licensing hours, I think, or the opening hours of the site, it was possible to get 23.5 hours of occupation of the site and consequently sale and consumption of alcohol and food.
I wonder if Mr. DeLu could just refresh our memories as to the actual sale of alcohol during those hours.
Certainly. As the application stands, the late night refreshment request is between 11 p.m. and midnight, and that is only in respect of the non-standard timings. And I presume that's only required because you only need late night refreshment after that time, and that would be the only time on those non-standard days that the premises are likely to be open. So yeah, just for confirmation, it's for those Sundays before bank holidays, Halloween, 31st of October, bonfire night, the 5th of November, and the 24th and 31st of December, and that is from 11 p.m. to midnight only.
And what are the differences between the sale of alcohol and late night refreshment?
The sale of alcohol is requested Monday to Saturday to 10:30 p.m. and on Sundays to 9 p.m. and the non-standard timings are again the same dates as before, till midnight. And
late night refreshments consist of what?
Late night refreshment is hot food.
So it's not, we're not talking about alcohol?
No, there will be alcohol, but that's under the sale of alcohol request. And as I said, that's normally till 10:30 at night, Monday to Saturday, 9 p.m. on Sundays. But for the non-standard timings, that will also be till midnight.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is it worth mentioning, obviously, we said before that the opening hours for the actual site are up to 20-30 hours. So any consumption or sale of alcohol for that would actually be breaching a planning condition.
And as
which I appreciate you are not a lot, you know, that is why.
Mr. Hills, can I just ask you just to be a little more respectful of the committee? Thank you.
I am.
As I have explained to you before, the planning application is completely separate to the licensing. We've had the hours discussed by Mr. DeLu or confirmed of what the actual hours for the selling of alcohol will be and the hours for the hot food. So thank you. Committee members, are there any other questions from you? Otherwise I'll ask. No, thank you. Mr. Babergh, do you have a question for Mr. Hills on his presentation, please? And you're on mute. Oh, better. Thank you.
No, I don't have any questions.
Thank you. Can I ask Anna Bolton if she has a question for Mr. Hills?
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And the licensing officer, Catherine Green, do you have a question for Mr. Hills?
No, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We now move on with the hearing, and I'm going to move to closing submissions. And I'm going to ask the licensing officer to give a closing statement to summarise any points which need clarity. Please.
Thank you, Chair. I don't have any further points of clarification, and I'll leave the matter there.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And now, Mr. Babergh, would you like to give a closing statement?
Just very briefly, I am quite happy to the compromise and any advice given. I will take that advice and I will communicate with the neighborhood and I will communicate with the local authorities. So that's all I can say.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anna Bolton, do you have anything to say?
I'd just like to finalise by saying that I actually think the extension of the opportunity to have the licence agreed and other events and things being able to happen on site can only enhance the experiences of the people staying in our short break centre, as opposed to be to their detriment.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to speak to Mr. DeLu. Are you happy that everyone has had the opportunity to speak before I move on?
Yes, Chair, we appear to have completed the process.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now all parties have had time to put forward their case. I now have to read a statement to you. On the basis that the subcommittee considers that the public interest in excluding the public outweighs the public interest in its deliberation being held in public, it is resolved that under section 100A in brackets 4 of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the meeting for this item on the grounds that it involves the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in Part 1 of Schedule 12 of the Act, on the grounds set out in Regulation 14 in brackets 2 of the Licensing Act 2003 in brackets hearings, Regulations 2005. And if I have a seconder for that motion, please. Thank you. That's Councillor Carpendale has seconded that, and to vote, please. Thank you very much. I now ask Mandy Smith to stop the live streaming, please.
Okay, thank you everybody for waiting. The subcommittee has considered this matter very carefully and have considered all the representations, both written and verbal, before them today. Consideration was also given to the Council's licensing policy, and in particular to paragraph 4, which relates to the relationship with the planning process. And that confirms that licensing decisions should be made on consideration of the licensing objectives, and previous planning consents are not relevant. However, it should be noted by the applicant that there are requirements to ensure compliance with the planning law and make sure you have the right planning consents in place, as well as the licensing consent, to ensure that you're not in breach of that legislation. Having said that, the subcommittee is satisfied that the granting of a licence will not adversely affect any of the licensing objectives, and is therefore determined to grant the application modified to the extent as follows. The hours requested for the opening hours, sale of alcohol, the live recorded music, and for anything similar to that description, and the late night refreshments are all granted. The major sporting events and the special occasions cannot be given as a non-standard timing without being clear as to when those events will occur. As set out earlier, Section 172 of the Licensing Act gives the Secretary of State powers to relax those licensing hours, and for other special occasions it would be more appropriate for a request for temporary event notices to be made, or for future modification of the licence. The following additional conditions are also applied to the licence. Firstly, the 2 conditions at Appendix D, which were agreed with the Senior Environmental Protection Officer relating to the sound from events. A condition that written notice of outdoor live music events will be given to residents in the vicinity of the licensed premises at the earliest opportunity. Regular checks to be undertaken of the outside drinking areas in order to remove any empty glasses, bottles, or any open or any broken glass in those areas. And when holding events under the subject of events of a similar nature to live and recorded music, to consult with the licensing authority to confirm the proposed events will fall within that definition. That condition was added because on your application form you don't actually specify the type of events you propose, so it was felt that the inclusion of this condition would give the licensing authority comfort that you are remaining within that definition. Any party, or the applicant or any party who's made representations to this subcommittee today, has a right of appeal if they are not satisfied with the decision or any condition that's been imposed. Appeals can be made in writing to the Magistrates Court and should be made within 21 days of receiving written notification of this decision. Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Delou. Before I close this meeting, I would like to thank everyone present for attending, the subcommittee, the members of the public, and all the officers. I do thank you for attending. I would just like to say to Mr. Babergh that you do need to consider that a requirement is for a designated premises supervisor and your own personal licence still for the premises, and I'm sure that the licensing team will be able to assist you with this. I would also like to add that we do hope that the line of communications between yourself and residents will be kept open for future suitability within the area, and we do actually wish everyone well within the Old Joe's vicinity. So thank you again for attending, and it's goodbye from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.